Hello, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another edition of The Professional Fan. I am The Professional Fan and your host, Mike Antonase. Welcome to this edition. On today's episode, folks, it's officially official. The Hawaiian supercomputer himself is going to be playing and starting his first NFL game in London against the Minnesota Vikings. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about that. So on your way in here, if you're new, please like, subscribe, and share this content if you can. It helps the show out a lot. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this football season. We are well on our way. Thank you all to all of our new subscribers and everybody else who's been sticking with us this whole time. Wally's in the house. Hey, Wally. What's up, gang? How y'all doing? My mic is coming. I'm doing good, Wally. And good to hear that you're getting that mic. Can't wait to have you up here, brother. But let's just get right into it. So, Joe Flacco been struggling for 4 weeks now, and I think the Detroit game, it was pretty obvious that it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Reports were flooding in this week, especially that there was some internal strife regarding the quarterback position and what to do there. Been reported by a couple people, Tony Rizzo on ESPN Cleveland, and a couple of others, that there might have been some internal debate between all the cooks in the kitchen, as it were, Andrew Berry, Jimmy Haslam, and Kevin Stefanski, respectively, about where to go, who to keep, what to do at the quarterback position. Now, I think us on this show, we made it our opinion pretty clear, as that it can't get any worse offensively. It really can't. Joe Flacco has been bad. It's a shame, but I've had a couple of people be like, the drop from Joe Flacco 2023 to Joe Flacco 2025 is a lot. Well, let's not forget, folks. I mean, it's a lot going from 38 to 40. It's not easy to be playing football at 40 years old. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are doing it. I also think Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers probably spend a lot more on their body and conditioning, nutrition, all of that, than, no offense, than Joe Flacco. That being said, Joe's a great locker room guy, still a great leader, still a great presence in that quarterback room, I'm sure, for both rookies, not just Dillon Gabriel, but Shedeur Sanders as well, who remains the quarterback 3 behind Joe Flacco. But yeah, man, Dillon Gabriel to start in London. My initial thoughts, I think this is probably the best place to start him. You don't want to start him against Pittsburgh. You don't want to wait for the Miami game, which is our next home game, to start him, because then, everything is pretty much up and gone. And at least you have your season kind of ahead of you, and the second half of your schedule is a lot easier. Maybe they think they can catch some fire, and also they just got to figure out what they have in their third round pick, Dillon Gabriel. I think this is smart, honestly. Me and Joseph on this show, on his show, have said many, many times that I think that this is right around the timetable of when he should have started. Week 5 to week 6 is when we would start to see rookies. Now, whether that would be Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel, we debated in the offseason, and we're now seeing that it's Dillon Gabriel. It's neutral territory. You're in London. It's a good test. The Vikings defense is no joke. It's not a bad NFL defense. The Vikings offense, on the other hand, I think is going to struggle. Obviously, Carson Wentz is their quarterback, and their offensive line is eviscerated with injuries right now. So this is going to be a good test, a good litmus test, a good place for him to start, get comfortable, get the game plan. Dillon Gabriel, some of the pluses and what can we expect. I expect a very similar offense to be run. Dillon Gabriel, incredibly smart player, incredibly smart football player. People are calling him the Hawaiian supercomputer. His processing is very good. He has a very talented arm. He can spin the ball. The obvious knocks on him were his size. He's maybe 5'10" at best. He's listed at 5'11". I don't even think he's that tall. He is a strong kid, though. I think he's about 205, something like that is what they have listed him. Maybe he's really like 190 something. But I think you can see a little bit of a glimmer of what the Browns offense maybe could be with better quarterback play. Dillon Gabriel, you can run bootlegs far more successfully than you could with Joe Flacco. And Kevin Stefanski loves his bootleg plays. We've seen him try to call it a couple of times. Flacco just can't do it. Dillon Gabriel can. He's got some wheels on him. Also, if a play breaks down, I expect Dillon Gabriel obviously to be able to scramble. You hope to see him step up in the pocket and deliver a ball to a check down or what have you. But in the event that he has to run to get some extra yardage or maybe run for a first down here or there, you obviously expect him to do that. He did it at Oregon with a lot of success. I think Dillion also is going to benefit from Stefanski's offense being that West Coast offense. I expect him to be able to diagnose coverages. He played a long time in college football, guys. He played 6 seasons in college football for UCF, Oklahoma, I believe, and then finishing his career in Oregon. So long collegiate career, which we've seen work out a couple of times very recently in the NFL. Obviously, the guy he played behind, Bo Nix, in Oregon. So you want to see him. This isn't one of those things that I expect him to make a few mistakes here and there, but I expect it to be a relatively smooth operation with Dillon Gabriel's strength being his processing and, the way he can read plays, and also his strength in that he's very, he's very experienced for a rookie. Got to take a sip of tea. But Dillon Gabriel, very experienced rookie. I kind of called a win this past Sunday in the post game, which might sound silly, but I do think the offense might look a little bit better with Dillon Gabriel. I think he's not going to turn over the ball. I think he's going to take care of the rock. I think if nothing's open, he's going to try to gain some extra yards with his legs, which just wasn't an option for Joe Flacco. Though Joe Flacco tried. He tried against Detroit, slid for, I think, a loss, or slid right at the line of scrimmage when he could have picked up the first. I think, unfortunately, Cedric Tillman is on IR. So is DeAndre Carter, I believe, who is our punt returner. That being said, Gage Lavardin and Malachi Corley were both called up from the practice squad. I think Gage Lavardin is going to take the job at punt returner. I do expect Malachi Corley might be in some packages here and there. He's a little bit bigger of a body of a wide receiver, can try and do the contested catches. But I think we're going to see Isaiah Bond's usage just skyrocket, especially after last week where he was really your only productive wide receiver outside of the tight end room. I think Dillon's going to lean on Isaiah Bond a lot this upcoming Sunday, as he should. Isaiah Bond is looking like another one of those rookies that is going to make a huge impact for the Cleveland Browns this year. UDFA signed him to a fully guaranteed $3 million deal. UDFA contracts for 3 years, not the normal rookie 4 or 5 if you're a first-round pick. But I think Isaiah Bond's usage is going to skyrocket. Isaiah Bond should have been a day 2 pick, and I think he's going to continuously show that. And he's looked good, man. I mean, he got here late, Isaiah Bond did. Obviously, he had the legal issues with the alleged charges that were dropped. But he's looked good since he's been here. And, the offense is starting to get rolling a little bit with the run game with Quinshon Judkins. The Browns did, I don't know if we covered this yet, but did in fact trade for Cam Robinson, who is at the Texans. Cam Robinson, who has a 66 PFF grade, quickly becomes the Browns' best tackle, at least by the grade coming in, as KT Livingston is the second best at 55. Cornelius Lucas is boasting a strong 48, and before DeJuan Jones got hurt, he was at a 53. So maybe at right tackle instead of KT Livingston, because I do not expect Jack Conklin to go. If he goes, great, awesome, best news ever. I don't expect Jack Conklin to be able to go. I also expect this to be Jack Conklin's last year. Cam Robinson's probably going to be starting at left tackle. Right tackle, you can figure it out between KT Livingston, Thayer Munford, maybe even Tavon Jenkins. But I think that tackle situation is immediately better. It's not great or good, but it might be okay. Cam Robinson is a okay starting left tackle. He's somebody that is a spot starter, that if it was free agency, you have no tackle solution. You can sign Cam Robinson and he can start immediately and provide NFL quality play at the position. He's not going to be a world beater. He's not somebody that you might even sign to an extension. He was a first-round pick for the Jags. Maybe he rejuvenates his career here with better offensive line coaching with Mike Bloomgren. Who knows? But, I'm not holding my breath. Thayer Munford also was a high draft pick by the Raiders initially. And now he finds his way to Cleveland. Again, maybe it's something you can save playing at right tackle. I will say this about Thayer Munford, even though he's always struggled in pass pro in his NFL career, he's always been good at run blocking, which has been horrendous for the tackles. So those two guys going to be starting, holding down the fort, I assume, unless they do decide to go to KT Livingston again. Those two guys going to be holding down the fort for Dillon Gabriel. I expect Isaiah Bond to get a ton of usage. Also, he's a shorter guy. Dillon Gabriel is. What is a short quarterback's best friend? The tight end room. So I expect David Njoku. Hopefully they'll game plan some plays for David because he's been quiet so far, guys. Harold Fannin has been excellent. We've been singing his praises, and it's a shame. Some of us think, and I think to a certain point that they're phasing him out. And then, Harold Fannin has just been that good where you want to keep scheming plays up for him because he runs like a wide receiver and he's a big body like a tight end. Why wouldn't you? They have him out there almost every play. I don't blame them. I'd like to see Dylan Sampson get involved in the run game a little bit more this week. I understand why they haven't. He's not great in pass protection. He's a smaller body. Got to put on some weight there, but we shall see. But my immediate reaction, do I think this is the right decision? Absolutely. I think Dillon Gabriel is, he has the most experience out of any rookie quarterback you could possibly start. And, this is meant to no offense to Shedeur Sanders, who I still think is going to get his chance, who I still think is very talented. I do think Dillon Gabriel is the better option right now. That doesn't mean it's going to be the better option long term. I also think Dillon Gabriel does give you a better chance to win early. Who knows? Maybe it works out even better. I'm a guy that was a Bo Nix non-believer. I did not believe in that dude at all. Thought he was. I laughed at Sean. I was like, Sean Payne has lost his damn mind. And Bo Nix has turned into a decent starting caliber quarterback. Michael Penix, I kind of say the same thing with Michael Penix. So I think it's probably the best possible decision for them to bench Flacco right now to try and get a better chance to win, maybe spur the offense into something. I think our receiver room is bad. Jerry Jeudy has not lived up to the standard that, frankly, he set for himself last season with his performance. Isaiah Bond's a bright spot. I think, he continues, his usage continues to grow. I think it'll be great, but I don't think that you just don't have that big body receiver. You wanted Cedric Tillman to be that, and he's been very spotty. He's not been healthy a lot. I just don't know what the Browns can do there other than draft somebody next year. Luckily, we have 2 first-round picks, and there are lot of receivers I like in this upcoming draft. Let's get to some of these comments. Joseph says, like, subscribe, and share. Damn right. Like, subscribe, and share. Please and thank you. What's up, Mike? What's up, Wally? Hope you're having a great night. Total BS. We signed a new left tackle. That was a first-round pick, and Conklin is practicing, and now we pulled Joe. Not fair at all. Brian, I can kind of see what you're saying, brother, but it's more than just him not being able to maneuver. He's just making bad decisions. He's making bad errant throws, which he kind of did a little bit in Indianapolis last year when he was there and more or less the starter because Anthony Richardson was hurt for so long. It's just, I think it's just time. Joe Flacco had a phenomenal career, Super Bowl MVP, lasted 20 plus years in the league. So few players get to say that. He had nothing taken away for Joe Flacco or what he did here in 2023, coming off the couch and leading a charge to the playoffs for the Browns. I think we're all cherish that dearly. It's not just him taking errant sacks, because I agree with you. The tackle play was so bad, you can't really put that all on him. But what you can put on him, and he's a very experienced player, is to know that the tackle play is not bad. They scheme up quick passes for him, and him just getting the ball out late, not throwing to the check down. He was holding on the ball along, and those 2 picks were errant. And he's had a couple of those this year. So, and they were going to start the rookies at a certain point, Brian, and when's the right time? I think as far as right times go, this is probably the earliest you could do it and feel good about it. You don't want to start the rookie against Pittsburgh, but you at least want to get him ready for Pittsburgh. This is the best possible time to start a rookie quarterback. I don't watch football, but I really think they let 4 or 5 players walk. Who you talking about, Wally? The Browns? Browns let 4 or 5 players walk. I don't know what you mean. Elaborate. You're still in here. Well, I'd like to see him for the next 2 games and pull him if it's not working. Yeah, but if it's not working at that point, and I think they did make a promise to the veterans to at least try to win some games. And if they really don't think Joe Flacco is the best option to do that, you got to put in the rookie. Because if you lose the next 2, your season's over. You're 1-5. If you win this game, you're 2-3. You're still in it. And God knows, I don't think we'll beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. We haven't done that in forever. I think I was like 5 years old last time that happened, and now I have gray hairs. So, I don't think you didn't want to start him against Pittsburgh. You wanted to get him ready. This is the best time to do it. And if he gives you the better chance to win, and honestly, Brian, I really think he might. I mean, think about it this way. I mean, I think Kevin's play calling for Joe is different than what it's going to be for Dillion, because Kevin likes running bootlegs. He likes getting, the quarterback into space so he can make, develop a play, get some deep shots, play action, all those things. And Joe, even his dropbacks were slow. He would take a normal 6-step, 7-step drop back, and it just didn't look good. Like, he's getting back there slow, bootlegs, you can't even do it. They tried, can't run into read option. And you certainly can't run a pistol set with Joe Flacco. So I think this expands their playbook a little bit. And if a play breaks down, you do have the plus that Dillon Gabriel can probably scramble, get you some yards, because the kid does have wheels. He did it at Oregon often. And he's the most, well, how do I put this? He's the most experienced rookie. That makes sense. He's very, very experienced for a rookie. Joe was 1 short field goal from 2-2. Yeah, of course. And he is 1 short field goal from 2-2. I completely agree. But there were some throws even he missed in that game that probably should have been, touchdowns. I'm not a Joe Flacco hater. I love Joe Flacco. I'm a ton of respect for the dude. Love everything he's done for the game. I think it's excellent that he's even still in the NFL at 40. Like I said, that's in very few players ever can say that unless you're like a long snapper. You know what I mean? So I just think it was time. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That at a certain point, you just kind of be like, hey, Joe, love you. We're going to keep you on the team. You're still a team captain, but we got to see what the young man's got. Don't get me wrong. I'll back up whoever starts, but I think it was early. And here, that's a fair take. Like, I'm not saying that's not a fair take at all. It could be very early for that. I just don't know feasibly if you're trying to win games. Let's say you didn't do it this week. Then it's Pittsburgh. You're not going to start him against Pittsburgh. Like, if Joe Flacco threw another 2 picks against the Vikings, you lose. One of them was a pick 6, and everybody's clamoring out, put a rookie in. You got to. You put him against Pittsburgh, it's going to be a bloodbath. You know what I mean? And then he looks bad. Everybody's unhappy. And then you're coming back home against the Dolphins, and you're 1-5. What would you be then? 1-5. So I get it, but I don't get it. I think I'm more where you're at than you think, Brian. It's not the best case scenario. Joseph and I actually talked on a recent episode. We really think that Kenny Pickett was probably going to be the guy that was going to be a long-term bridge into next year, or at least until very late in the season. And then he got hurt at training camp, and there was nothing you can do about it. Like, he got hurt in training camp. They needed to find a solution. Now I'm stuck with a framed Flacco jersey. Here, man, we got a lot of good memories with that Flacco jersey. Here, that 2023 playoff push that got Stefanski his second coach of the year is going to be special. Like, keep it framed, put that up, man. I mean, honestly, this is probably Joe Flacco's last year too. So he's going to be retiring a Brown essentially, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life. But by the way, I make great jersey shadow boxes. Nod. Hey, check out Chef Brian K for jersey shadow boxes. That's pretty sick. But yeah, so it's a good conversation though. Yeah, I expect back to it. I think Isaiah Bond is going to get a lot of usage. I also expect the Browns offense to be on the field a lot because I don't think the Vikings defense is going to be able to do a damn thing. Knock on wood as I shake my camera. I really don't think they're going to be able to do a lot against the Browns defense. I think outside of Darashaw, legitimately every offensive lineman is hurt. So, I know the Browns went up against a very stout Lions offensive line last week and didn't record a sack, but they recorded a ton of pressures and QB hits, which still matter. You put pressure on a quarterback, that's almost as important as a sack. You prefer the sack, obviously, but pressure rate is it's bread and butter. And, Malik Collins, Mason Graham, Myles Garrett, Isaiah McGuire, and company going up against this Vikings offensive line. I fully expect the Browns defensive line to have a field day, and then go enjoy some fish and chips after the game. Only downside, I don't know if you know this, is at 9:30 in the morning. So Browns fans, I hope you're enjoying the game this Sunday morning with some mimosas, maybe some espresso martinis, maybe some Bellinis, if you're so inclined to enjoy a Bellini. More of an espresso martini kind of guy, especially if they use real espresso, because then it's kind of doing both. I'm still waking up. The espresso is doing its job, and then the martini part of it is also doing its job. But got to get some waffles. Thanks, my good chef sub long ago. Got to go feed my dog. And yeah, go feed the dog, brother. I got 2 of them. They're hanging out, sleeping right next to the chair. But yeah, folks, I'd love to hear some other people if you're just tuning in. What do you guys think about the Dillon Gabriel news? Do you guys think it's a good thing, bad thing? Think it's too early, too late? Love to hear what you guys have to say. Like I said, my initial reaction, I'm very happy we're doing it. I think it's going to be a win. I don't know what his stat line looks like, but if I had to predict it, I don't think he's going to throw a shit ton. I'm going to say, you know what? I'll say Dillon Gabriel has like 60% completion percentage, 125 yards, maybe 130 yards, and a touchdown. No picks. Watch, he throws a pick. He throws a pick first play of the game. I'll lose it. Dude. I will crash out. I will be at a breakfast spot at 9:30 in the morning. I'll just have my espresso martini in my hand and my waffles on the way. And if Dillon Gabriel throws a pick his first play, I'm going to crash out before I'm even awake. I'm going to wake people up. I'm going to wake people up with my voice if that happens. But that's the stat line I hope for. And I think the Browns win. I actually think we score over 20 points this game. I'm going to say 21-14. And that 14 is very generous. I think the Vikings might score 10. And then we'll see against Pittsburgh. But I think my fortune and my crystal ball, if you will, is saying I think we're going to be encouraged by what we see Dillon Gabriel do. I really think we'll be encouraged as a fan base. I think there's going to be a lot of overreactions and underreactions from certain parts of the fan base, but I don't think it's going to go badly. I don't think it's going to go as bad as we think. I think this is the right time. I think the coaching staff is making the right decision. It sucks that it's happening at all, though. I'd much rather be 500 or even 3-2. Oh, we weren't going to win that Ravens game, though. Oh, bright spot, Browns fans. We do have the same record as the Baltimore Ravens, who are now starting Cooper Rush this Sunday, as my fantasy team just sputters out of the sky like a Zeppelin hit by a freaking phosphorus round, just like Hindenburg. And my other fantasy team is just as bad right now. I'm feeling good about that. You also don't think Stefanski is a bad coach? I don't. I really don't. I don't think he's done a great job this year. But historically, I don't think Stefanski is a bad coach. I don't think he's been particularly good this year. I've been very critical of Stefanski this year. I said against the Baltimore game that he called a horrible game. And I said against the Lions, I hated the play calling. I've been very critical of Stefanski this year. But historically, do I think he's a bad coach? No, I really don't. And also, I mean, here, we haven't seen the kid play. So I can only go based off of what I've seen in college, stats there, completion percentages there. I know the size is a huge question mark and a huge risk factor, Jeremy, and I agree. Like, I'm worried about it too. I wasn't a big fan of the pick, at least where we picked him when we made the pick in the third round. I think like Dillon Gabriel was deserving of being in the NFL and just not in the third round. And, the Browns obviously saw something in the kid. Maybe he shocks us all. Maybe not. I don't know yet. It's not Sunday. I'm hoping for the best, though. I am very much hoping for the best. And you got to. I'm a fan. At the end of the day, I try and be analytical. I try and do all the fun stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm a fan, a professional fan. So I can only do what I got to do. And I got to watch these guys every week until January. So forgive me for my optimism if I still got a little bit left. We're only in week 5. Let me be a little optimistic still. You know what I mean? This is a little bit of a rant. I get the lack of optimism, but we've won a game. We've won a game. There are teams that haven't won a game. Jets fans, I feel for you. I feel for you for a long time. You guys have been through the suck. You guys get it. I mean, you got a Super Bowl like a 1,000 years ago or whatever at this point. But Jets fans know the suck like Browns fans. Jags fans historically know the suck like Browns fans. Panthers fans know the suck like Browns fans. So forgive me, and I still see optimism in those fan bases. Forgive me my optimism that I'm just trying to find the silver damn lining since it's only week 5. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to go bad on Sunday. I'm not saying that he's going to have 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and like 45 rushing yards. I'm not saying crazy shit like that. But 120 yards, he takes care of the football, 1 touchdown, no picks. I think that's a very fair stat line. Maybe another 15 yards rushing. Maybe he breaks off a little run. But I think it might be a surprisingly okay outing for Mr. Gabriel. I think they're going to lean heavy on the run game early on with Quinshawn, and hopefully, again, I hope they put Dylan Sampson in more. At least, like, just put the ball in his hands some way. Give him a screen. Give him something. Because he is just, he had a couple of schemed up plays for him last week that just didn't happen because Flacco wasn't getting him the ball. But I want to see Sampson more, man. Sampson's a good back. He had a great week 1. Build on it, But Quinshawn's obviously your franchise running back. That dude is good at football. Dude is very good at football. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch the kid, man. It's always exciting when your football team does something new, switches it up. I think everybody's excited, even though I know my expectations aren't incredibly high. I don't think Dillon Gabriel's a world beater. I'm not looking at Dillon Gabriel like he's a first-round pick. He's the third-round guy. I don't think they see the future in Dillon Gabriel. That being said, stranger things have happened. This is the NFL. Dak Prescott was what, a 4th-round pick? Not comparing the two, just making a statement. But who knows? It could very well go our way. Dillon Gabriel might shock and surprise all of us, including me. Because like I said, wasn't a very big fan of the pick when we made it. I thought there were better value picks on the board, that we left a good player out on the board, like Xavier Watts, who looks awesome for Atlanta. So who knows? I think his completion percentage historically has always been good. He's got some wheels. You can run pistol set, read option, bootlegs, all the things that Stefanski generally likes to do that you couldn't run with Joe Flacco. You can keep the defense a little bit more honest. Now let's see if our personnel can kind of keep up, because, Isaiah Bond has looked good. Judy's looked meh. Harold Fannon's look great. You hope that you can get a little bit more out of some of your players. But goddamn, does Jerry Jeudy have to catch footballs, man? We're paying him way too much money to drop the ball like that. And he looked so good last year. If he's not careful, Isaiah Bond will take his job before you know it. But I think you're starting 3 receivers moving forward are Bond, Thrash, Jeudy, which, if Jeudy starts catching some footballs, we should be fine, considering you have Harold Fannin and David Njoku out there pretty much all the time, too. But yeah, folks, I want to hear your takes. If you guys are just joining in, what do you think about Dillon Gabriel starting this Sunday? Hit the like button on your way in, if you'd be so kind. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of Dillon Gabriel starting? Maybe predict a little bit of a stat line. Do you think it's a good idea to start him in London? I personally think it's probably the best case option. But yeah, I'll keep this going for the next 10 minutes, maybe less. See if we get any comments rolling in. Oh, and I almost forgot. Folks, it's time for the weekly quarterback rankings. Because college quarterback rankings. Because the Cleveland Browns have 2 first-round picks next year. I know we're just talking about Dillon Gabriel. I'm wishing him all the success, but I'm a realistic guy, believe it or not. Some might not think that as a fan that I'm realistic. I am, more or less. So I hope that Dillon Gabriel is the future? Sure, that would be great. Do I think that's likely? Probably not. So we have 2 first-round picks next year. What is the current rankings of quarterback for me? Right now, my list has probably changed a considerable sum from my previous shows, and it'll continue to do so. Number 1 collegiate quarterback right now for the Cleveland Browns or any team that's quarterback needy, Dante Moore, another Oregon guy, has started to separate himself as QB1, in my opinion, in college football. That dude just goes out there and hoops. I think he can be great. Number 2, this one, Fernando Mendoza, Indiana. This dude is dropping dimes that are Sunday afternoon throws. I'm talking this guy is an NFL quarterback if I've ever seen one. Fernando Mendoza. Keep your eye out for him. If you haven't watched Indiana, go watch Indiana. Fernando Mendoza is my second top quarterback prospect in 2026. Third is unchanged. LaNorris Sellers, South Carolina quarterback. He's had some up and down games, but he's showcased his arm talent as well as his just freakish athleticism. People are making Lamar Jackson comparisons. I can kind of see it, but I'm going to, you pump the brakes a little bit on that. I still think LaNorris Sellers is an amazing athlete, has great arm, better at throwing the football than what you might think. He's still at my 3 spot. Number 4, Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson out there just balling, absolute balling. Ty Simpson is still Alabama prospect, so I'm a little wary. Alabama quarterbacks. There's only one really good one in the NFL right now. But he hooped. He hooped against Georgia. I mean, he was out there just feeding it. So Ty Simpson is my 4th ranked collegiate quarterback, and last in 5th place is still Drew Aller. Now, some people are going to hate that. I think Drew Aller still has all of the tools you want in a franchise quarterback. Huge arm, big athlete, very tall, gives you the Josh Allen vibes, and he has suffered a lot from being in Penn State for the past couple of years. That he suffered that James Franklin is his head coach. I think Drew Aller's the 5th best collegiate quarterback just as transitioning to the NFL. I think he has all the tools you want. He could be a good late round pickup in the 1st or 2nd. Might give you some NFL caliber play. Still very young. But bro chose the wrong school. He doesn't have any help or good play calling in Penn State. I'm going Drew Aller at 5 still. And Garrett Nussmeier has fallen off the list until further notice. Arch Manning's never been on it for me. Not an Arch Manning guy. If his name was Arch Smith, nobody would talk about him. He has been bad. However, maybe Arch Manning turns it around. I've been giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think Arch Manning is playing hurt. I don't know if that's confounded or not, but I've seen enough videos of him grimacing as he throws the football. So say hello to Tara as she wants to give her football take. Tara, go ahead. Yeah. All right. Real interesting stuff. But that is my quarterback rankings in college. Who do I want the Browns to draft? Realistically, right now we have the 4th draft spot, and the Saints and the Jets are both above us right now. The Saints need a quarterback. The Jets might not. I don't know. Justin Fields has looked very good for them recently. It's just a matter of the Jets have a bad football team. Their defense has not looked good. They have very minimal pass rush right now. And I think their offensive line is just bad. I think the offensive play calling's been bad, honestly. But Aaron Glenn, who's a defensive guy, you expected to kind of fix the defensive struggles, but they have really bad secondary issues in New York. Could be a possible Caleb Downs situation if they don't want to go quarterback and keep rocking with Mr. Fields, because Justin Fields has been pretty impressive for New York so far. The Saints are definitely picking a quarterback. So, unfortunately, I do think Dante Moore, if he continues to build on it, will go to the Saints at 1. And then 3 is the Titans right now, and they'll probably pick Ruben Bain if he continues to just cook in Florida, which I think he will. Ruben Bain is Florida or Miami? He's in one of those schools. Ruben Bain is absolute dog, best pass rusher in this class. And then I think we'll have our pick of Stellars and Mendoza. And in that situation, I hope the Browns take Mendoza. I know I'm crazy. You might think I'm crazy. Watch the tape. I'm just telling you to watch the tape. Fernando Mendoza's a dude. I'm not crazy. But folks, I haven't seen some comments roll in. So before I go, I just want to tell you something that you guys, I appreciate. We appreciate all of our new subscribers on the show. Joseph and I both do. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share this content if you can. It helps us out a lot. You know, we don't have any sort of, we don't pay for ads. You know, we don't do any of that. We're starting this from the ground up. We don't have any bot likes or anything like that. So this is absolutely, completely crowdfund, essentially, through you guys, everybody who just naturally kind of finds the show and engages with it. We appreciate you all. If we agree, if we disagree, doesn't matter to us. We just appreciate that you're joining the dialogue. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us for the past couple of years. We really, really appreciate that. Oh, what's up? Tara loves Shador. We're getting closer. Good evening, fellas. Good evening. You're catching it late. You got. Technical difficulties apparently, and my laptop doesn't like that button. But you're catching it late. Go ahead and watch the playback. I'm actually going to be getting out of here, but thank you all so much for watching this evening. And again, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share this content if you can. It means a lot to Joseph and I. Thank you so much for everybody. And always, as always, please stay professional.